lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to Now Slain, an It Slays podcast production where we review the latest and greatest in the world of horror. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
And this is your special guest, not really, Mike.
And we are here for a double feature episode, so make sure to use the chapter markers in the episode if you want to skip the first one, go to the second one, or you just want to listen to the first one, all that good stuff. So we'll be talking about the new films Him and VHS Halloween this evening. But to start off with, we are going to be looking at Him, that was released September 19th, 2025 in theaters. Mike, we'll start off with, had you seen the trailers for Him? Were you pumped about Him? I feel like there was a movement of people excited about this film.
I actually did see the trailer. I don't know. I sometimes avoid trailers these days, in terms of watching them online. It depends, really. I obviously love a trailer, and that's one of my favorite parts of going to see a movie in theater. And I believe that one of the, you know me, I never get time to go see movies in theaters, but one of the ones that I saw this year did have this trailer on it, and I thought it looked great. I was pretty excited for it. I saw that, Jordan Peele produced it or executive produced it or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. We're getting a little bit of seal of approval. I loved all the old Wayans Brothers movies back in the day, all the
of course, who
funny and scary funny ones. So yeah, I was really, and I liked, I feel like it might have been after I saw I Know What You Did Last Summer, because I was like, oh, that's the guy from the, I Know What You Did Last Summer remake. And I thought he was pretty good in that. So yeah, I was excited for it. What about you? I know you were pumped.
I was pretty excited for all the same reasons. Obviously, you're okay, it's not a Jordan Peele movie, but it's produced by his company. So I was excited about that. And then also, I'm not a huge football guy, not really my sport. But I'm always interested, sport horror isn't really something you really get too often. So I was like, this is kind of an interesting thing to meld. And then, it also, Marlon Wayans was the big attraction to me.
Yeah.
I immediately, when I think about serious Marlon Wayans, I'm going to Requiem for a Dream and, how fantastic he is in that. And I think he's, really underrated as an actor, not just a comedic actor, but a serious actor. So I was very excited about that. And then I also, Tyreek Withers, I think is his name. Yeah. The guy from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, I'd seen the trailer before that came out, but obviously it was playing a lot after that came out. And I also thought he was one of the better parts of that I Know What You Did Last Summer film. So I was excited to kind of see, okay, he's kind of commanding the lead in a film. Let's see how that does. So with that, let's go to the trailer and see, does this film hit hard enough to give us CTE? Let's find out.
Cameron Cave, do you want what I have?
Yes, sir. I worshiped you growing up.
Who are you?
I'm him!
My training methods could be a little unorthodox.
What are we doing?
Cam, are you okay?
Something's off. So you're gonna have to ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice?
Rated R.
Him is directed by Justin Tipping and written by Skip Bronkel, Zach Akers, and Justin Tipping, and the synopsis is as follows. After suffering a potentially career-ending brain trauma, Cameron Cade receives a lifeline when his hero, legendary 8-time championship quarterback and cultural megastar Isaiah White, offers to train Cam at Isaiah's isolated compound that he shares with his celebrity influencer wife. But as Cam's training accelerates, Isaiah's charisma begins to curdle into something darker. So here on Now Slaying, we like to start off with the spoiler-free section. So Mike, Let's start with our spoiler-free thoughts on this. I was going to say, I'll just start that I think anything negative I'm going to have to say about this movie, one thing I can't say is I thought the movie looked good. This is a fairly new director. I saw he only directed like one other movie. I haven't seen it. It's on Tubi. It's called Kicks.
Oh, yeah, I did see that when I was looking up his filmography.
I heard it's pretty good. I know people that have seen it and said that it's like a pretty good drama.
I think he has a couple shorts out too, maybe?
Yeah. So I was kind of interested. The trailers really gave it like, I felt the trailers always gave like kind of this like substance music video vibe. I was like, okay, like this kind of looks like it's like Hype Williams directed it or something. And I thought overall the movie looks good. Like it definitely is aesthetically pleasing, a lot of the stuff. It's doing what I like.
Oh, for sure. That was one of the like main pluses for me. You know, I'm a sucker for like style.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I find lately a lot of horror movies, or maybe I can't, I don't watch all of them like some people do, but a lot of the ones that I've been watching, like newer ones recently, I find maybe it's because they're lower budget, although that really shouldn't impact it at all. They just don't have much of an aesthetic.
Yeah.
And this one, even though I was a little bit annoyed by the end of it with the like 2010s music video, 2000s music video editing and vibes, I did really appreciate that they leaned into like a visual style, because it's like such a pared down story and like pretty much almost a single location.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought I really enjoyed the style, even if it did sort of start to wear on me after a while.
And with this, I kind of felt my overall issue with it was like, I felt they just, no pun intended, fumbled the ball a lot with the storyline. This really goes for it visually, but there's so many threads that I really liked that they kind of bring up, but then they immediately drop and then never discuss again in the film. So I found that kind of disappointing. Marlon Wayans, I thought was fantastic in this. Like, I thought he was the best part. That's kind of what I expected. I didn't know if I needed to leave a little room for you to rant about Julia Fox in this, who I didn't realize was in this until I had seen it. So I was like, wait a second, is that Julia Fox?
How can you? There's no, is that Julia Fox? She even has the trademark Julia Fox eyebrows, and they even, and this is not a spoiler, make a reference to her eyebrows.
Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy that, but I just didn't know.
By the way, I like to think that was added in after she was cast, and they were like, let's have a little fun with this.
Oh, 100%. But I thought, like, overall, that I kind of enjoyed the cast. Like, Tim Heidecker, obviously a big plus for me being in this. Jim Jeffries, who I'm a pretty big fan of in this, and he's not really in much, so I think this is one of his kind of like first acting jobs. And there was people I recognize I'm not like overly familiar with, like there was like Guap Dad 4000 and Tierra Whack, and like so they kind of had these like modern hip-hop people in it that are obviously for a younger audience than me.
Okay, but also you're neglecting the this was so funny. I had to look it up because I was like, I know him from somewhere. So like, how his father plays like such a large role, but he like really only gets like probably less than a minute screen time.
Yeah.
So the guy who played his father, I first saw him in like season, I want to say like 19 of America's Next Top Model. And then he was famous for a few years in my eyes because if you ever shopped for clothes on Forever 21's website and a couple others, he was one of the main models.
That's
I was
hilarious.
like, oh my God, his dad's the guy from Top Model and the Forever 21 website. I'm sure he's done other things, but I don't know them.
That is funny.
I just think it's funny
Worlds
because like
collide
he just like
for
is
you.
Yeah.
America's
Top
Next
Model
Top
and
Model
a football movie? No, I never thought that would have any overlap.
So that was another weak point for me with this movie is even though like football isn't my thing, I was very curious like how they were going to work horror into football. And they don't really. Like there's like maybe 2 football scenes in this whole movie. Like we never see like other than like a scrimmage, like workout game, like there's never really a game of football played. It's more just, I found like people talking on football fields or in like training facilities.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but I guess I went in with the expectations that I was like, oh, they're like, we're going to see like football, maybe like filmed very interestingly. Maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean, the trailer makes it look that way because it gives you all these like kind of crazy editing and like expansive shots with like really bright lighting, and it kind of makes it look like, you know, they're on like a football field and you're kind of expecting a lot of that, like, I don't know, Any Given Sunday or whatever, but like with music video aesthetic, and then you realize that like, no, it's actually all off field because it's like off season.
Yeah, and I mean, sadly, that was, you know, I was just so excited about that, and then it didn't come to fruition, so I was like, okay. And, you know, I thought the film did a good job at, like, kind of building, you know, like, this kind of, like, satanic cult feel, like, something's off, I'm not really sure what, but, like, I felt there was very little, like, almost like the storylines, like, very little paid off, like, it's more just, like, everything's off. There's only really, like, a couple, like, I think there's only, like, maybe, like, one or two, like, on-screen kills. Like, it's not really a full-out horror movie, I would say. It's more like, just, like, this vibes movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's, like, they're using, like, the editing and shit to, like, make it feel really, like, frenetic and in your face.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, like, fills in the gaps for all the, like, lack of stuff that's actually happening, except for the end, of course.
Yes,
which we'll get to eventually, but that's when it kind of goes full on horror gore movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, with this, it's kind of hard to talk about without, you know, kind of getting into, like, the main plot points, because this is really, like, a trailer that doesn't tell you much, and then...
Yeah, the trailer was also, just vibes.
Yeah, and then, like, any reveals are kind of in the spoiler territory. So let's just discuss, would you recommend for people to go see this? We're a little late getting to it. There is some theaters around my way that are still playing it, but this is like starting to go to VOD streaming. But like, so would you recommend this to people to see?
So here's the thing. So I'm thinking I would recommend, you know, if you're at home and you're just sort of like on, you know, Apple TV or whatever, and you're like, oh, let's rent a new horror movie for $5. It's better than, you know, spending like $100 for like, say, two people to go and get popcorn at a movie. But also I'm thinking that like maybe it would be even better if you did see in theaters, because obviously I didn't, because you know, it's on demand now. So honestly, I am having a little bit of trouble with it. I would say probably wait until it hits a non-rental streaming, like if it goes to
this has like Netflix or something written all
Hulu
over it,
or whatever. Yeah, something like that. You could do a lot worse. I've done worse this week on streaming platforms. So yeah, I would say hold off until you don't have to pay for it, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, it's hard for me too. I feel like I'm gonna agree with that. I mean, now that it's on VOD, I'd probably wait till it comes to a stream. You're not necessarily paying out of pocket for it. Like, if we had done this a little sooner, like, honestly, I don't even know if I would, like, the visuals are pretty cool on a big screen, but I don't know overall if I would have recommended seeing it. I had kind of came out of it a little disappointed for when I went in.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I guess like a medium lukewarm recommend. So it feels like two medium lukewarm recommends for him. So with that, why don't we cut on over to the spoiler section? We are now in the spoiler section of him, so if you haven't seen this movie and you don't want it spoiled, pause it, go watch it, and then come back and listen, or you can keep listening if you simply don't care. All right, let's talk about this a bit. So obviously, you know, there's these very heavy handed themes in this of like football is religion for Americans, and obviously, you know, the movie weaves in, not as it just religion for Americans, but it's like a satanic religion, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish they did more with it. Like, I really did like the uneasy feeling and just the weirdness of stuff, like the mascot, and like there was just like cool stuff that was really off-putting. I'm like, oh, this is vibes, this is weird, and it's shot cool, but it's like they just never like I feel like go that extra mile to really like sell this.
Yeah, no, it's like they have these ideas, but they don't push most of them.
Yeah, well, and then like the one that I was really excited when they start talking about it is when Isaiah is talking to Cam about the creation of the quarterback position and how it was like created because Indigenous and Black people were like dying, and it was like a way for them to outsmart white players and not die. I looked it up. I don't think that's true. I think that was just lore created for this. But I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then obviously, and maybe, it's unreal for me to go into that. But obviously, well, I shouldn't say that because there is themes in this. But, Jordan Peele produced. I'm like, oh, there's probably going to be like a cool comment on like white owners or white players and like versus Black players. And so once I heard that little tidbit about the quarterback, I got really excited. So I'm like, oh, this is like a cool little seed to plant how like maybe different cultures have been like navigating football, and they're going to make it seem like football's like this ancient gladiator sport, which it very much is. Yeah. But other than them mentioning that, there's nothing about that ever again, other than, Isaiah saying that the once. And that's kind of what I felt the whole movie was. It was like they brought up these kernel ideas of awesome, and then it's like we either don't develop it or it's just developed really half-assed.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's funny because like they even almost get there, I find, like near the end, when they're in his little, I guess it's a screening room or shrine or what. Yeah. But with that like weird IMAX-y like domey screen, and that sort of does turn it into a like old school Coliseum where it's like the people on high like looking down, and then they are like, okay, it's me against you.
This is how you become the GOAT. This is how you get the juice.
And I appreciated that. I just feel like there was something missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and that's where like this movie is like really a style over substance thing, I find. Like, because like I said, it looks so good, and I was really impressed with the visuals, but it's been a long time since I've been disappointed in like a story, and I think it was just the hype up of the movie for me that I was like, ooh, this looks really good, and then I was just like, this story is an absolute mess. Like, I thought, even like Elsie, who's like Julia Fox's character, like I thought they could have used her a little better, because there was always something off about her when you meet her, but she's like this influencer, so you're like, maybe she's just odd and on purpose and stuff. And they do at the end, it's kind of like, well, Elsie's in on this, like the owners kind of use her. But then I was like, is it deeper than that? Is like, is she forever young or something? Like, is she always,
what's she getting out of this?
Is she always the partner to whoever the GOAT football player is at the time? Because it kind of seems...
Is she ageless? Is she like a witch?
That's kind of the vibes I was getting, right? Because she's kind of connecting herself to Cam now that he's in line to be... like the next in line. I did really, I think, the shocking scene in this is when they're doing the scrimmage football practice, and every time Cam screws up, they just like use that pitch machine to throw the footballs in Buddy's face, which I thought was fantastic.
It was a great scene. I was actually super disappointed at the end of it. I truly thought they were going to cut down like when they finished it to his face.
Yes.
And I literally thought his skull was going to be like caved in on the front. And I was like, oh my God, I was like looking forward to this absolutely hideous reveal. And it's like, oh, he's just bloody and like missing a tooth. Big whoop.
Yeah.
Come on, boys. Like but that whole scene was just like literally like a buildup of tension, right? And there was like no release at the end of it, I found.
Yeah, no, sadly we didn't kind of get, I think, the gruesome payoff that we kind of really wanted. I did like how, as these throughout this, as they're playing or whatever, as the injuries are sustained, we kind of get a look at like the skeleton and an x-ray thing. I thought they overused it a little much. I don't even think that's a proper English sentence there. But yeah, I thought it was overused a bit. I thought it was cool like one or two times, but they just kind of kept seeing it. And I get that they're trying to say like, oh, you know, these are the things that are happening to these players' bodies.
It's devastating to their bodies. Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, I feel like you probably could have visualized that just normal also, and we'd still get the point.
But also, like, they keep getting injected with various substances that we don't know what they are. So, like, why do I care about what's happening to their body when I don't know if they're full of, like, some insane magical steroids or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just like keeping that enigma around all the shit that they were doing to their bodies, and like, you know, something nefarious is going on. It's like, okay, I understand that like they're also like tearing themselves apart and like doing permanent damage, but also, do you have Captain America serum in you? Like, I don't know what's going on right now, so I just don't care about it, you know what I mean? Like, it just sort of like undercut the message to me. And I understand that people inject all sorts of shit into themselves when they're professional athletes anyway, but like, this is a horror movie. I don't know what the fuck that is. Like, it could literally be, you know, fucking Jekyll and Hyde shit, like Captain America. I don't know.
Speaking of injections, like, I thought this was kind of a cool, I felt it was a nod to Any Given Sunday, was Jim Jeffries' character, because you really do at the beginning kind of get the vibe of James Woods, like, as the sleazy doctor, and then I thought, you know, it was a good twist that he's like actually kind of a good guy in this situation, where it's like, at first you're like, why is he doing this? Because he kind of feels bad about it, but then obviously, like, he knows, like, these guys, you know, this is this like cult and whatever. I was going to say, obviously, I think the highlight of this movie is going to be kind of the ending scene where Cam's going to sign the contract. He's defeated Isaiah, like in the Gladiator IMAX room, as you called it. So all he's got to do is like sign the papers. And then Cam, you know, decides to just like grab a sword and start decapitating people. We kind of find out from here that, you know, Tim Heidacker's character, his agents, like, kind of been grooming him his entire life to be part of, you know, this cult. And, like, these were the things where this kind of closed. Like, I get the idea. It's like, oh, all these white owners, and they kind of own these black men that are fighting each other over, like, stardom and money and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where this lands the plane on that, but I didn't really feel like the plane ever took off.
No. It was just sort of going around the runway.
Yeah, like there was stuff they started and then never came back to, and then this is something they ended that I felt they never actually started, and I was like, oh, this is kind of confusing. And I'm kind of taking all this confusion as the fact that, I mean, there was 3 writers on this, so obviously there was quite a bit of different inputs in it, and 2 of these guys, this is pretty much their only writing credit. This is the only thing they've ever written. So new writers, I can see that. I will say to people, if you're like, this is like a pretty short review, but it's one of those movies that it's really a style over substance thing. There's not a lot to talk about it other than, well, you know, there's like cool strobe light scenes and cool lighting. And like,
and everyone knows I love style over substance, but this was style of like 15 years ago. It's not even current style. It looks like something out of like Mortal Kombat like 9 and like a music video from like 2008. I just, you know what I mean? It's like, it's fine. I appreciate that they were doing something aesthetic.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, no Mario Bava, put it that way, you know what I mean?
Well, with that, let's get into rating this. If you're new to the program, our rating system is nay, okay, yay, or slay. Mike, what would you rate him?
I was going back and forth, and in relation to the other movie that I watched this as a double feature with, I will bump it to a low on the scale, okay. Like, it's like when someone gives you like a 51 to pass just so they don't have you in their course again, i.e. me in every math course I ever took. I know that was a grace 51, so I'm giving it a grace okay, because I just felt like there was just not a lot going on which again is fine, but the style was also getting a bit tiresome. Wayans and Julia Fox, to me, like, saved the movie.
Yeah.
But also, I just thought his character was, like, super one-dimensional, and there was no stakes. Like, I didn't think that he cared that much about this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he wasn't the one talking about his father. They were all like, oh, your father wants this, your father wants that. And he was just kind of like, whatever. And there was no other people in the running. It's not like I was making the joke to somebody else that it was like, it felt like, you know, in American Horror Story where it's like, oh, they're like, who's going to be the next Supreme? And, you know, it's like a showdown, but there was no showdown in this. It's like literally they picked this guy. Like, it's either Wayans is going to retire or he isn't, and he's like 60 years old, so obviously he's going to, you know what I mean? Like, there was just no stakes to it. I was like,
you're saying
cool.
They needed
like,
more America's Next Top Model influence in it.
Well, honestly, since they cast one of the cast members from that, yes. I needed more challenges. I needed more competitors. I needed something to give it a little bit more friction. There was no friction. It was just all lube. So yeah, the lightest of okays. What about you? I need to hear this.
So yeah, we are going to be different on this. I'm going to give it a nay. I was pretty disappointed in this. I would like to see it again. I would like to have my expectations lower a little bit when I watch it again. Where this they were really high, and I was really looking forward to it.
Oh, same, yeah.
I think this also, unfortunately for Peele, right, is everyone I kind of see it that's not necessarily like huge movie person is assuming this is a Jordan Peele movie, and they're like, oh, this is a Jordan Peele flop. Like, obviously it's not. And I think overall, I know critically this did terrible. Like, people did not like this movie. And like I said, it's a real style over substance. And as you said, sadly, I don't know if that style is current or that amazing throughout the entire thing to necessitate this whole thing. I was kind of thinking I'd almost rather this almost like a mini movie, like some sort of short or a 40-minute like kind of thing, which Netflix has done before. Like, I could see that, and you could probably compact all of these ideas.
An episode of an anthology series, maybe, like Masters of Horror sort of thing, yeah.
Sports horror. People would buy into that, and a sports horror anthology. There you go. But I was very happy, like, you know, Tim Heidecker, Julia Fox, Marlon Wayans. Like I said, I thought the cast
saved us.
Was very good. I think it's just the writing and obviously the newish director that I will be interested to see what Justin Tipping does next, though, because I do think there is something there.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
So, thanks for coming on, talking about him with me quickly. So from here, we are going to jump over with Gill, and me and Gill are talking about VHS Halloween. And now we are joined by Gill to talk about our next movie for this double feature. Say hello to the lovely people.
Hello, folks.
And we are here to discuss VHS Halloween, which was released exclusively on Shudder, September 19th, 2025. So this one's an anthology, and I said this is the first time we've kind of fully broken down an anthology for Now Slain, so I don't even have Colton to make the rules up for me, so I'm making them up. So I'm going to give the listeners a little preemptive of what's going to go down. We're going to kind of do our normal beginning spiel, and then we're going to just have a very quick spoiler-free section of how we feel overall. And the big part of this will be the spoiler section, because then we will go through each segment and break them down and talk about them and all that good stuff. And then I'm sure at some point we're going to rank, you know, least favorite to favorite or whatever way you want to do it. So, you know, after I've said that, what's your, like, do you like the VHS series? Are you familiar with it? Do you watch them all the time? Like, what are your thoughts on VHS in general, Jill?
I actually really love the VHS franchise. It's one of those movies that I always put on when I'm at my friend's house, and we've watched, I think, almost every single one together. I think there's one I haven't seen. It might be the 80s one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to check that for sure. But yeah, really fun movies. I think they're something fun you can just throw on. And I love anthologies as a medium for horror, especially because you don't want, really dragged on horror movies like The Strangers Part 2. Some things are just better in a kind of bite-sized form, and I think they do a great job with these movies. And normally there's like a couple from each movie that like really stands out to me. But yeah, so big fan of VHS as a franchise. What about you, Rowan?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I always harp in whether it's Now Slain or the normal episode podcast, like I'm really not a found footage guy. That's usually a genre that doesn't overly work for me most times. But I am a fan of the VHS franchise, or at least what I've seen. I'm definitely missing some. Like I own, I think out of the kind of the original trilogy before Shudder took them over, like I've seen VHS 2, and I think that's the only one I've ever seen. And then when the Shudder ones came out, I've definitely missed some. Like even I'm looking at my shelf, even ones I own, there's some there, like the 80s one you were talking about, I think it's like 85 or something. I don't think I've seen that one. Yeah. I think I saw 94. I saw one of the 90s. I know there's two of them. And then me and Colton did talk about Beyond, so I have seen Beyond. So I'm trying to catch up now. But yeah, I'm generally pretty positive on these. An anthology is good because some are good, some are bad, but you're going to get a mix of a little bit of everything, different perspectives going on there. So did VHS Halloween get us in the mood for spooky season? Let's cut on over to the trailer, and we'll be back with the synopsis and spoiler-free thoughts.
This Halloween, Shudder invites you to experience the 6 spookiest, ookiest stories that will make you laugh until you scream. It's a spooktacular anthology the whole family can enjoy.
You creepy little freak! I hope you die!
Shivers creeping and crawling down your spine. That's that touch of mine. I won't tell no lie. Trick or treat!
VHS Halloween is directed by a whole bunch of people. So I'm going to not say the directors right now, because when we break down each individual episode, I'll give credit to who wrote and directed them. But the overall synopsis is as follows. A collection of Halloween-themed videotapes unleashes a series of twisted, blood-soaked tales, turning trick-or-treat into a struggle for survival. So here on Now Slain, we like to start off with our spoiler-free thoughts. Jill, what were your overall spoiler-free thoughts on VHS Halloween?
Well, first of all, I was really excited when I heard that this was coming out, because I think Halloween anthology movies are kind of the best anthology type of horror, like Trick or Treat. We all love Trick or Treat. And the other night I was actually watching All Hallows Eve, like the original movie with Art the Clown.
Yeah.
And it's a lot like this. Like, it's on Halloween night, you have your classic horror tropes, and then you get into this found footage that's like really messed up, and it's kind of the same thing that's going on here. So I love that they all kind of center around on like Halloween night or Halloween time. And I thought that the underlying story that kind of cuts in between them all was really good. And that was interesting. And I thought that while there was that common thread of Halloween, a lot of them too were kind of possession stories. And I thought those were the strongest ones for me.
Yep.
So I really like those. But yeah, with VHS movies in general, you were talking about it earlier, like how some are good and some segments are bad, but overall it's a mixed bag, and you'll have fun with some of it, and the ones you remember, you'll remember, and the ones that get lost, you won't remember. But for this one, I think I will definitely remember every single segment here because I thought most of them were very, very strong and memorable. So I feel like this might be the strongest entry in the VHS franchise. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought this was pretty good with its collection. You know, even though I felt some of these were kind of very loosely tied to Halloween and spooky season, maybe just very small threads, I thought the offering in this one was actually pretty strong overall. Obviously, my immediate memory is going to Beyond, which I remember really enjoying. I think I almost might have enjoyed this even a little more, which I feel might be a hot take. I don't know. A lot of people I see
feel the same way.
A lot of people I see talking about this right now, or kind of they like it, but they're like, oh, I think there's like stronger entries in the VHS thing. Where I just think, as we'll get into, like I think there was a lot of segments that were kind of my jam. So I was like, okay, like this is kind of speaking to me. Like personally, yeah. I guess they just were like, we need to make a film for Rowan Fraser of the It Slays podcast. So thank you so much for that. But yeah, I mean, I thought overall, I thought it was pretty strong. There was a lot of strong showings overall. There's a big weakness in this that I had an issue with that I'll get into. But yeah, overall, I was pretty happy with this. So, let's, would you recommend people go check this out on Shudder?
Yeah, absolutely. Go check this out, especially if you like the other VHS movies. Like me and Rowan just said, perhaps a hot take might be the strongest one there is, or have some of the strongest entries. And it's that spooky season time. You want to put on stuff like this when you have people over, or put it on in general just to get into the mood. There's a lot of gore in this one. It's very disturbing. So, if you're also looking for something to freak people out, this will do it. So yeah, I definitely would recommend checking it out. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to recommend that you go, get your subscription if you don't have it to Shudder, so you can watch, all the Shudder exclusives and the horror that's coming at you, and some good horror stuff. They always have good horror stuff up, but even for these, if you're fans of found footage, these are like kind of must-watches, because you'll find something you'll like usually, and even if it's just one segment, you'll find it. And it's cool to just, especially now that VHS is kind of owned and run by Shudder as a series, like as a franchise, I think it's kind of cool because they're pretty good at showcasing kind of newer horror talent. And so it's kind of cool to be able to, you get to be like hipster with your friends and be like, oh, guess what? I was like with them on the ground floor when they were on like, doing little segments on VHS. And so, when one of these guys becomes the next, Eggers or whoever, you can be like, oh yeah, I knew them before everyone else. So yeah, 2 recommends. I'd say that's pretty strong. So let's cut on over to the spoiler section. We are now in the spoiler section of VHS Halloween. So if you haven't seen this film, stop it now, go watch it, and then come back and listen, or just keep listening if you simply don't care. So like I said, this is where we're going to do it a little bit different, because now we're going to actually break down in the segments, let you know what they're about, and then we can actually talk about the segments and just our general thoughts of it. And then I thought, instead of kind of, saying, oh, at the end of this segment, this is kind of what I thought of it. We don't say this is the best segment or whatever. I guess you could maybe say that, but I thought it'd be more fun to wait until the end, and then we can rank them so you can see where they stand with you. So I thought first we will start with kind of the wraparound, the like frame narrative of this, which is called Diet Phantasm. This is directed and written by Brian M. Ferguson. I looked into it. This guy is kind of like new. This is really his only kind of bigger credit. He's only done shorts. But the synopsis for the wraparound is as follows. A corporation documents the life-threatening side effects of its new diet soda on a group of taste trial participants. So yeah, what did you think of this wraparound overall for this?
I really liked the wraparound for this one. It was something a little different with having these test subjects try out this diet soda, which we find out the secret ingredient is extract of poltergeist. And you see that through the trials when, you know, they drink this soda and weird shit starts happening. Like they kind of become possessed or they get mangled by whatever is in the soda. Lots of good gory effects there. I thought that was great. And I thought it was funny that like the guy in charge of the whole experiment like actually doesn't care at all. And I don't know, I thought it was a really strong segment. What did you think of that one?
Yeah, so this was the only issue I had with it.
No.
I was not a fan of this one, and the only reason for that is because I feel with the other ones I've seen, the other VHS entries, the wraparound usually has like so much kind of tie-in with why you're watching the movies, like why you're witnessing this, where this has absolutely nothing to do with why you're watching these different segments, which are all found footage. So I was like, to me, maybe like, I guess if you wanted to make this into a segment that you presented just as a segment, not a wraparound piece. But like, I'm thinking about Beyond, like, you know, Beyond it was like a UFO documentary, and that's why you're looking at all these different, you know, movies of, aliens and stuff like that, where, yeah, this doesn't really have anything to do with it. And the only thing that really has to do with Halloween is that it's, you know, a drink they're trying to get out during the spooky season. And I also just kind of felt that there was too many of these segments. Like, it was cut too many, because I was like, so many of the things just, it's like, oh, it just, the same thing keeps happening every time they try it, just a little different. And I didn't think, like, the kills were that much different in this for it to really necessitate me seeing the segment like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that's a good point you make about it not connecting, because they do connect in the other VHS movies. You're right. I never thought about that at all. I guess I just thought it was like a fun little segment in between. So you're just getting cuts of the segment between every other segment, and that's kind of weird for these movies because they don't usually do that. But I don't know, I didn't really like I honestly didn't even notice, because I just thought it was a fun little break in between everything. And I thought the kills were fun. I like to see like the possession type thing, which can be connected to some of the other segments we'll talk about. But yeah, I thought it was different.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I feel like there's not like a lot to talk about with this one, because overall, if you compress them, there's not like a lot going on other than people just keep opening cans and, you know, either being possessed or there's some sort of like Lovecraftian tentacles coming out at them, or, you know, that kind of thing. So, well, with that, let's go into our like first official segment, which is Coochie Coochie Coo. So this one's directed by Anna Zlokovic, who I say like a fame. I've never seen it. I've seen it on Disney Plus, but she directed a movie in 2023 called Appendage. She also, it was a short before that, featuring Rachel Sennott. I haven't seen it, but I know people said it's pretty good. It's like a body horror that has to do with like trauma from a woman's body, or like grief or something from a woman's body, but it's like somehow a body horror.
Well, this makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, a little tie-in, but I'll give you the quick synopsis for this one. Teenagers come face to face with a malevolent spirit known as the Mummy, an urban legend who supposedly kidnaps children from their homes during Halloween. So yeah, this one, I also thought was kind of interesting, because so we get the 2 girls trick-or-treating, and, you know, this house kind of is there. They see this house, you know, they've want to go get candy from it or whatever. But this was like another one I kind of had an issue with, because like kind of once they get in the house, it has nothing to do with Halloween. And it's like, I kind of want these to have something to do with Halloween, where
you want trick or treat.
Yeah, essentially. It's like I want these to somehow tie in and give me that feeling of like, you know, I should watch this movie on Halloween. Like, this is a Halloween banger. And it's like, this one, yeah, they're trick-or-treating outside. But like I said, they get in the house, and then this is more of like, I honestly thought it was almost like a Barbarian ripoff. There's like some hardcore Barbarian vibes going on.
Strong words. Can you see that in my notes? Very Barbarian.
Yes, I'm looking at her notes.
Yep. So when this came on and they get into the house and you start to see like the baby stuff happening, right away when I saw that fetus drop from the bowl or whatever,
the basket or whatever,
I was like, Barbarian vibes. And then it became increasingly more Barbarian vibes. But I don't think it was a straight ripoff, because I thought they did their own unique thing, and it makes sense after hearing about what else this director has made. Like you're just talking about like trauma and how it kind of manifests in sort of a body horror. It kind of happens here with the mommy, because they find out that because she got impregnated when she was raped, and then she like hung herself or whatever. So now she's back as this like supernatural entity, and she coerces her victims into like sleeping with her lullabies because she's a mom, and then she turns them into babies. And I thought that was a really, like, literally turns them into babies. So it's a little bit different from like Barbarian in that sense, where this is a little more supernatural sort of thing. I thought also kind of reminded me of Trick or Treat in the beginning and the end, because in Trick or Treat, if you like disrespect Halloween, you get got. And these kids did that because they decided to go out and trick or treat. They're too old for it, but I think it's the fact that they were stealing candy from little kids, right? That made them disrespect Halloween.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So they got what they got. You can't disrespect the rules of Halloween. But I also like the kind of urban legend of it all. I just watched Candyman for the first fucking time in my life. And I love that whole idea of urban legends, like, you know, getting everyone talking and scared, and then you're like immortalized in that urban legend. So I like that too. Also, the creature design I thought was really good and unique. Like with the saggy boobs and the milk.
6 of them. There wasn't there like multiples?
Yeah, udders.
Udders. Well, you got to feed all those babies.
For sure. I don't know. I thought it was really creepy, and it worked for me.
I mean, I did like the creature design in this. I thought, especially like kind of at the beginning when she's in the doorway and she's giving like the creepy smile and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, this is a little creepy. I wasn't a huge fan of the guy, the fat baby.
The fat baby?
Just because, I mean, they obviously just took an actor and like they put a bonnet on him, and then he's like eating the wall, and he was like kind of silly. I thought he kind of took me out of it, where I didn't hate like the cheerleader, like, because they were doing like a cool effect where I was like, oh, it's like there's something off about her face, but you're trying to figure out what it is at first glance. And, you know, like they have prosthetics on her so she's kind of got like, you know, like fat little baby cheeks, but it's like, you can tell it's like morphing her body. It kind of reminded me of Dream Warriors, when they're like, is it Dream Warriors? I can't remember. One of the Nightmare on Elm Street where he's like shoving food into the girl's face and her cheeks are expanding. And I was like, it kind of has like that look where it's like,
yeah, chipmunk.
Yeah, you're like, this looks really, really like bizarre. And I did kind of like that. And, you know, like I didn't hate this at all. Like I thought some of the scares were pretty good, and, you know, once she kidnaps one of the girls and the lullaby stuff, you know, I guess I could have give or taken the lullaby thing, like where they just like set the camera up and then they just kind of like fall asleep and all that. I don't know why, but I really felt this reveal of this character was like very similar to one of the segments in Beyond. It might have even been the first segment, like where the SWAT team's in the house and then they go up into the attic and then like the monster's kind of there. And
I love that one.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I just kind of felt, I was like, this is like something I feel I've seen before. And maybe it was that Barbarian comparison that I was really having an issue with. Like maybe Barbarian just totally ruined it for you to have a mummy character in horror for me. But yeah, like I thought there was some pretty good scare things. I always love the mom's like creeping around, and I like that kind of like chase of the mom coming after them and stuff. That tension, but every time that damn fat baby showed up, I just like totally got pulled out of it.
He was like so unsettling to me, partially because he was goofy, but also menacing at the same time. So you never know what you're going to get. But I thought it was a really strong start to the movie. Like it really got me invested. I'll say that. Yeah,
so let's go on over to the next segment, which was Ute Supra Sic Infra. I'm going to guess my Spanish is not great there. We should all know that Rowan was never had a chance with that one. And this is directed by Paco Plaza and written by Paco Plaza and Alberto Marini, who, of fame, Paco Plaza is the director of Rec, which is like a very iconic horror series. He directed all those, and he did I feel it's like kind of a TikTok film now. He did Veronica on Netflix, which is a like Spanish possession movie that I always see. It came out in like 2017, but I always see every year it does the rounds of like TikTok people being like, oh, this scary movie on Netflix no one's seen. Which, by the way, if a bunch of people are doing it on TikTok, apparently people have seen it. But yeah, so this one, the synopsis, I keep forgetting about the synopsis. I'm sorry, people. But the synopsis for this one is the sole survivor of a massacre is accompanied by the police to the original crime scene in order to help them piece together the events of that fateful night. I had a lot of fun with this one. I really, really like this one. I thought you could see, like I said, obviously this director's like a very seasoned horror director, and it really felt this is his era. Rec is like 2000s, and I was like, this feels like a 2000s found footage movie. Like, I loved everything about it. I thought this had a fantastic Halloween vibes. I loved getting the intercutting between, him very like somber and apologetic and scared when he's being interviewed by the police, and that switch over to them at the night of the party, and they're all dressed up and they're in like this cool, I don't even know what they're in, like this underground tunnel that they go to, like this area, this room that's all kind of boarded up and stuff. And I really like this. The phone, I thought the phone was a cool thing. The possession of the guy was odd. Like everything about this I just vibed with so hard.
Me too. I liked the setting, like you just talked about, like this abandoned mansion in Spain, and that party where I think this is all in Spanish too, right? This entire segment. Yeah. I think that added to it as well, because it's something spooky about like reading the subtitles and hearing it in a foreign language. I think you talked about the phone. I think the phone was also a cool touch. I have Black Phone fresh in my memory because I just watched it like 2 weeks ago. Really reminded me of that, like the phone ringing and the supernatural thing going on and bad things happening. The eyeballs were really disgusting. Like plucking the eyeballs out. I can't deal with eyeball stuff. I was cringing the entire time. So disgusting.
I thought this was so good. Like, the eyeballs were awesome. Like, everyone kind of getting lifted up to the ceiling. I was very interested, like, how they were going to pull that off, how they were going to do it. It did really good. And I also thought, like, I don't want to undercredit, like, I thought the acting was actually really good in this one. Like, the main guy that plays the guy that gets possessed by the phone, like, he's got a big job, right? Because not only is he portraying, the first night or whatever. But he's also kind of got to portray that fear because these cops are making him reenact it. And, like, when they bring out the phone and they're like, no, like, we want everything like it was. The phone's not hooked up. It's not going to work. Like, I felt his, like, genuine fear, and I was just like, this is extremely well done. Like, I mean, now that I think it before I say it, I don't know if it would work. But, like, to me, I was like, man, blow this out to a hour, 20-minute movie. Like, I'm kind of into this. And I just think this is a really good example of, like, someone, like I said, they have, like, a seasoned director, writer of, like, some iconic horror movies that is just kind of coming in and flexing. This is, like, kind of in the middle of segments, so I think it's good to have something this strong there, just in case people aren't really connecting with maybe the first two or whatever. To me, like I said, it was so 2000s, I just felt it was aimed at, like, our age demographic of, like, this is horror that you are really going to enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. I also like how it kind of links into being possessed in the first one, and in the narrative that's like weaved around this. So far, it's all been possession type segments so far, and I like that that's woven in there. But there's a lot of like really creepy stuff going on in here. And honestly, the first two, well, not the first, the one that surrounds the entire thing has like a lot of like throwing up like black blood, like that always reminds me of Evil Dead. So this one also kind of reminded me of Evil Dead when he's like throwing up all the eyeballs. It was just like so intense. And like you talked about earlier, when he sends people flying up, like levitating them and then dropping them, seeing that on the video camera is just really cool, really powerful, really fucking scary. And you can really just see people's fear. And then also when it goes silent and he's like at the top walking on the ceiling and he's like plucking out the eyeballs, it's, I don't know, something about it just like really friggin' scared me. Yeah, very powerful as well. I thought this was really well done. Also reminded me of the movie As Above, So Below, just because like that's kind of the same premise.
And that's what the title of this means, is As Above, So Below. I've never seen that movie, but
it's really good, but it's in France. So maybe that's been on my list, honestly, for the podcast. So we'll have to do it so you can see the kind of comparisons.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was really scary. This was very powerful as a piece.
Let's go on over to our next one, which is Fun Size. And this is directed and written by my guy, Casper Kelly, who people our age definitely know. He's kind of a staple of like Adult Swim. He also directed Yule Log, the horror Christmas movie. He did what I think is like an iconic internet piece, Too Many Cooks, for Adult Swim. And also, I never knew, the co-writer of Mandy,
which I also just watched.
That's super funny.
He has the Cheddar Goblin written all over him. Like, I bet he came up with that.
Oh, 100%. So the synopsis for this one is 4 teenagers stumble upon a bowl of Halloween candy and ignore its instructions of consuming only one per person, leading to disastrous consequences. So I can tell you, he's not on the podcast. I know Colton hated this one.
Really?
He told me it annoyed him. He thought it was super annoying, and he did not like it. I will say it's a shame he's not on here, because you guys would get a classic Colton and Rowan clash.
Oh my God.
Fun Size, I had fun with. I was like, my guy doing it again. It's ridiculous. It's out there. It's just like my kind of, I knew it was going to be my kind of humor when, you know, he's eating the like chocolate dick that you obviously are like, this is a real dick. And, you know, I also really like the premise. I love that their Halloween costumes were people making found footage Halloween films, which then gives them a reason to have the cameras like on them.
Inception.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is so Casper Kelly. Just everything about this, like getting sucked up into the bowl. If you love Yule Log, like, obviously, I think you'll really like this. People getting cut up, turned into, you know, bits of candy and different candy that no one knows the name of. Like, I just thought this was super funny. It's super random. I've read a lot of stuff where people are annoyed by the Fun Size guy, that just keeps popping up and yelling fun size.
He's everywhere on Reddit right now. It's so funny.
And like, to me, I was just like, this is, you know, this is Casper Kelly. This is just what I expected. It's super funny. The only real issue I kind of had with this one was that through line where, you know, we have like one of the women is engaged to this guy, and it seems like she doesn't want to be, or she's trying to get out of this engagement, but she doesn't know how to tell him.
Relatable.
And this terrible. You know, this guy's just so awkward. Just every time he talks, he's like, my fiance, how's my fiance doing? Yeah, you know, it did add some comedy towards the end, obviously, when he dies. And even before he dies, she's not giving him the satisfaction of doing this fake wedding.
Yeah.
Did this work for you? Like, did you think it was funny? Did you think it was annoying? Like,
going back to what I said earlier with the trick or treat kind of etiquette and respecting Halloween, they took more than one candy, and that's what set this whole thing off. And I love that that's what it was. I also thought it was funny that they're like picking up candy and looking at it, and they're like, what the hell is this? Like, it reminds me of, have you ever been to Aldi, like the grocery store? Do you have those? Okay.
No, we don't have those.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, so Aldi is like a German grocery store. And they have them over here, and they don't really carry name brand stuff. Like you're not going to get Oreos, or, you know, you're going to get their generic version of it. I know all grocery stores like have that, but they like do kind of replicas and can just give it a different name. So I was like, wow, this is like going to Aldi and just buying a bunch of candy.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, and I love that that's what happens and sets this off, and they get literally sucked up by the bowl. So that was like kind of like whack. So, you know, you're like getting into this sort of anything can happen. Like, this is a wild type of universe, you know, that you can get sucked up by a candy bowl. And I thought these teenagers were really obnoxious, and that's kind of been a theme in this too. Like, all the teenagers are shitty and annoying, and bad shit happens to them. But yeah, I thought fun size was interesting. I thought the candy was really gross, and I love seeing it come out the conveyor belt and get covered in chocolate. And it's predictable in that way, like, you know, you're gonna see more of that. And I think it's really kind of funny when she finally confesses that she doesn't want to marry him, and then he dies. That's brutal. And then you think everyone's safe, and then bam, everyone is not safe, and fun size has killed everybody. So yeah, like, I think it was funny, and it was fun, and it was something different.
I enjoyed her friend Haley when they like blow off her face and just like gumballs start coming in.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious because you see the tube and you're like, what's this tube doing? It's like obviously shoved up her ass. And it's like, oh, it's, you know, it's the pipe for the gum. And like, it was just stuff like that I was like, this... It's on brand. It's on brand. It's like Adult Swim, just out there stuff. And yeah, I thought it was super, super funny. So the next segment, a little more somber, which is Kid Print, written and directed by Alex Ross Perry, which to me is like, he's probably unknown to most people, but he's like kind of a little big for this, I thought. He had directed a movie, Her Smell, starred Elizabeth Moss, that was pretty popular. I think his most famous movie is he was the writer of the Christopher Robin movie that had come out, and he's made a lot of hype this year and last year because he put out a mockumentary type documentary thing called Pavements, and he put out a documentary called Video Haven, just about the love of VHS stores and stuff that was playing at all the festivals. And he's also a pretty big director, like a music video director, and he directs Maya Hawke's music videos.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, there is that. And the synopsis for this is as follows. A store that specializes in video IDs becomes the center of the very thing it's trying to prevent, the kidnapping of children. So I guess to me, to kind of expand on that, if you're like, what the hell are video IDs? So like, the main premise in this is that there's children going missing in this town. So this photography electronics store, like, it basically offers to make like a video. They ask your kid questions and stuff, and it's a video in case your kid goes missing that you can like release to the public. This one, it's very interesting that this comes after Fun Size, because complete opposite tone. This might be the bleakest one I've ever seen in a VHS movie. Like, this is very dark.
Yeah.
Which I've seen a lot of complaints about. I know a lot of people that are like, you know, this fun Halloween VHS compilation, and then I'm watching this, like, thing that makes me sick to my stomach. I mean, there is a lot of troubling things in this. Like, this is... I don't know if I've ever seen someone go for it like this.
You can say that again. Yeah, you're right. It's super bleak. Unsettling, but not in a fun way. Like, I remember when we were kids in like elementary school, they gave us these sort of like little activity booklets, but it was to write about like where certain marks are on your body, just in case you like went missing and, you know, someone needs to identify you. Like, we did like little kits of that and stuff. And looking back on that, even when I was doing it as a kid, I knew it was like weird. Like, I knew this was like, oh, what if I get kidnapped? You know, like, it's dark. And this felt the same way immediately. I felt weird watching it. I did not feel good.
I've heard a lot of how I felt watching this too, which was like gross.
Yeah.
There's just something about, like, they use Alex Ross Perry uses this really, really like home video 80s camera look. And like, it gives you that vibe of like if you're watching like some documentary on like a pedophile or something. Like, it just has this, and I mean, this really drips. There isn't, I'll say like up front, there's no like pedophilia thing here, but I think the feeling of that is definitely hinted at in this. Like, when I say they go there, like, I'm talking about, like, the violence in this is not violence against adults. Like, this is, like, horrific violence against children, and, like, you actually are showing it.
Yeah, and it's gnarly.
You're watching the murderer, like, skin teenagers' faces, and... You know, I was thinking as I was watching this, because of course, you know, you're like, oh, I watch Scream. I watch all this stuff that's like about teenagers being slashed, Friday the 13th. But it's like a lot of these videos we're confronted with, even if the violence is done to like 16 plus years old, a lot of the unsettling videos are not unsettling necessarily. Like, they just look unsettling, and you know there's something bad happening. And it's like, there's like kids that are like 12. That in these videos that you know have gone missing, and then it's just like, like, this is one of those things that you watch that, like, the pit of your stomach just feels bad watching it.
Yeah, and I feel like there's no release for this either, because the guy gets away with it and frames someone else, so he's like continuing to do this. So there's like no... I mean, you're not going to get a happy ending in one of these movies anyway, but the fact that it's young kids and just like their like body language in these videos, it feels wrong to watch this.
Oh, 100%. And that, you use the perfect word. I think that's the word I was looking for. The body language of this seems like a movie that would be dealing with like sexual violence, even though it's not. But it's like the body language of these kids, and especially like, you know, because we didn't fully explain, but yeah, like the guy that owns this shop, you know, is the one that does these videos, offers this service, but it's actually like the video editor that is the killer. And it's like, as this owner's like discovering the videos, and he goes into the shop and sees all the videos like of the murder and the death and stuff playing, it's like, and this is pretty brutal, like we said, like he's cutting like the skin off of people's faces and making other kids wear it, he's wearing it. And, like, there's lots of scenes that he's just literally skinning kids piece by piece and laughing, and it's just like, yeah, it's so unsettling. And then like, yeah, like you said, like he essentially makes these kids believe that the owner does it, so they kill the owner. And then just a horrific, horrific but a great end for a horror movie where, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna take over the store and I'm gonna keep offering these services to your kids, and no one knows the better. And yeah, it's just, I had in my notes written for this one, I thought this was a perfect mashup if you took Lake Mungo and mashed it with Hostel, and I was like, I feel like this is what you would get, is Kid Prince.
Yeah, it's too real, I think. And it doesn't really match the tone of Halloween. I feel like this is the one that was the furthest tied to Halloween.
Yeah, other than, because the only real tie-in is that parents are getting these made at Halloween time because all these kids have gone missing over time, and they're worried Halloween is going to kind of spike up the missing children and all that kind of stuff. So now that we've talked about those horrible things, we round off with Home Haunt. So this is the final segment. So Home Haunt is written and directed by Micheline Pitt Norman and R.H. Norman. I believe they've done like 2 shorts. This is their kind of debut. I think it's from what I've read, it's a husband and wife duo. And the synopsis for this one is as follows. A family's yearly Halloween tradition of creating a homemade haunted house is upended when its newest edition, a mysterious cursed LP, brings the various monsters to life. This was fun. This one was like, I think this is what I feel like most people, this is going to be their favorite one of the whole thing. This is dripping. Obviously, we're dealing with haunted houses and stuff. Like, this is dripping with Halloween. Every single bit of this segment is giving you its Halloween night, like I said, and it's like corny decorations, and these guys encompass like not just like witches, but like a very traditional like green skin riding a broomstick witch, and make it like scary and fun. And like this one, I was just so impressed, not only because they're first timers, but with how happy I was that this was like a Halloween theme to kick it off the VHS Halloween.
Yeah, I agree. I think especially with the witch like taking the camera and she's like flying around on her broom at the end and like, impaling people with it and shit. And then she kind of drops it like right by the facade that they created for this haunt. Just the imagery of like that classic Halloween that we grew up with, like you said, like the green witch and all of that. And in the beginning, when there's home footage of the dad, getting his kids like paint that mask, I thought that was really cool. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Halloween 3, just like the classic kind of witch skull pumpkin thing going on. I just love that this man, Keith, he loves Halloween and he makes this haunt every year in his yard for people to come to. And I just love his passion. I think it's really cute. I think it's funny that he goes into this store and the lady tells him not to film and he keeps doing it. And then he buys this relic, this LP. And from there, it just like descends into chaos. You've got these grumpy people who think the decorations suck, which is not true because this is like the largest scale like backyard or yard kind of like haunt that I've ever seen. It looks really good. And it's, I don't know, people die in like the craziest ways in this, and I don't know, the sort of chaos that's happening and the fear that's you can see on people's faces and stuff is, I don't know, it's different. It's very Halloween-y. It's fun. It's gory. It's kind of everything you really want in VHS Halloween. Yeah,
this one's so funny that I love the first kill, the ghost sheets, and they just kind of like absorb the cranky guy, which, we're sitting here saying the cranky guy, like this guy isn't an icon, which makes it super fun, super funny, in the humor in this. So the cranky old guy that's just complaining about how everything looks is iconic effects and makeup artist Rick Baker, who has done, like if I listed it off, your like minds would just be blown. Like, this guy has done makeup for Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Videodrome, Men in Black, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, The Ring, Tron, Altered States, Planet of the Apes, Escape from LA. Like, he worked with Tobe Hooper a bunch. Like, this guy, this guy literally is like a horror icon for effects. American Werewolf in London, that's what he'd be most famous for. He was the effects artist for that. Like, he brought you the awesome looking werewolves.
Fuck yeah.
So it's awesome to have him, grumpy, going around this haunted house and being like, this sucks. So I love the humor. And this one I also thought was really good at, like you said, the kind of building a backstory. I thought this was the best example of building a backstory very quickly with the old footage of his son and having the whole family involved in this thing that, the wife obviously is like, she's supportive, but she's kind of like, whatever, it makes my husband happy. And then as the son gets older, the son's like, I'm a loser, leave me alone, I'm trying to get girls or whatever, and you're just ruining it.
With the hunchback.
Yeah, like, I just thought all this was fun. We have like a cursed store, just fantastic. Like, to me, this was super funny, and like I said, I just feel this is what most people are going to be looking for when they go into a VHS Halloween movie. They want to see these like fun segments that are just dripping in Halloween.
Absolutely.
With that, we've talked about all the segments. So before we get into our overall rating for the whole film, I thought it'd be fun to rank these, including the wraparound, just rank these where we have them stand, see how far away we are from each other on this. Now I'm going to let you pick, dealer's choice. Do you want to start with the worst, or would you like to start with the best?
Let's start with the worst, because I think it's obvious.
We'll see. I'm curious. So how do you want to do this? People are listening, we're doing this on the fly. Do you want to say what your worst and I'll say what mine was? And we'll go like that, just back and forth. So why don't you start us off? Number 6. What is your number 6?
My number 6 is Kid Print. Because it was too depressing for me. It kind of took me out of like the fun of, it's stuck between two fun like segments. So it really just brings you down. And I also found it hard to connect it to the Halloween theme. I didn't really see like its place in this anthology. I mean, it was well done, but it was just like, it was too real, too bleak, and just really took me out of that like headspace. What about you?
Yeah, so my number 6 was Diet Phantasm. I really, as I kind of said, I really didn't like the wraparound for this. I was bored most of it. It wasn't for me. I thought they could have done better. I think this is the weakest wraparound they've had. I'll say my number 5. We can do it like that. So my number 5 was Coochie Coochie Coo.
Oh my god!
Like I said, I thought it was okay, but the weird fat baby guy really took me out of it. I thought like the scares versus, this didn't really play as a comedy one. Were fine, but it wasn't anything I've ever seen, and I almost felt like this was too influenced by recent things that I thought it was fine. It just didn't really do it for me. What's your number 5?
So my number 5 is Diet Phantasma, because I didn't really like acknowledge its flaws, a wraparound piece, because I hadn't thought about that, but there's not much to it. It's just a fun little piece. So yeah, that's my number 5. So number 4 for me is Fun Size. It's kind of in the middle, and I think that's, fair for the top 3 that I have. It's a fun little Halloween segment. It's goofy. It's kind of otherworldly. I kind of fucking love Fun Size. Like, it's just so ridiculous. So yeah, it's just in the middle for me.
Yeah, so my number 4 was Home Hunt. I did enjoy Home Hunt. I thought it was pretty silly. And I am normally a fan of of, you know, kind of like comedic, light-hearted things. I think this is what I'd be looking for in general for this kind of vibe, but there were just ones that I liked a little better than this one. And honestly, I almost wish this one was a little longer and I might have liked it a little better because I was having a lot of fun in this house. And somehow this got away with also killing kids, but it wasn't as, you know, scary or horrific.
Yeah.
I think more so because, you know, like the kid's like face goes into the vat of like witch's brew acid, and then when you see it again, she's just a skeleton.
Yeah.
And so it's a little more played for fun. We were close though. My number 3 was Fun Size. My boy Casper Kelly. I had a lot of fun with this. I thought this was super funny. I had more fun with this than I did Home Haunt. It's just more my style of humor. It's just kind of weird. It's out there. It's surreal. We're not really aware what place this is other than like if it's another dimension, an alternate reality. Like, there's no explanation to anything. And who doesn't love that, like, head crush at the end? Fun Size getting his revenge on people that take too many candies. What was your number 3?
My number 3 was Home Haunt. I thought it was very strong and effective. I just liked the other 2 more. I thought the haunted house that this guy created was amazing, and I love seeing, like, different elements to it. And it was cool to see everyone get kind of picked off one by one in whatever way that they died. And they did kill children, like you said, but it was more lighthearted and not just like malicious and menacing.
Yeah.
And I just loved like the classic Halloween look to it and the feel. Like, I don't know, it was fun. And my second one is the Ut Supra Sic Infra As Above So
That's
Below.
also my number 2.
Okay, nice. All right. I thought it was super powerful. It probably scared me the most of everything, honestly, because that kind of shit scares me. But it was really effective, and like the way that they use silence and sound, and just like the way that it was interwoven with the kind of the investigators and then like back to the party and what happened that night. And it was also just like gruesome, like the eyeballs, that was really disgusting, the throwing up, the convulsing, I don't know, it was really scary.
Yeah, I mean, this one to me was so well done. Like I said, this is really kind of my jam. If you're going to do like a scary type one, the eyeball stuff was cool. And you could really tell, as we said when we talked about it more in depth, like Paco Plaza is just kind of like a very experienced director in this and in this space, and he knew what he was doing. And I mean, a lot of the time, you know, like possession stuff doesn't normally really get me super interested, but I thought this just really worked. I thought the vibe of this was really good. So, I mean, if you're keeping track, obviously, yeah, you know that my number 1 was Kid Print. I'm a sicko.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, you know, you'd expect this from me, people. You know,
no, actually, I'm shocked. I thought this would be your last one as well.
Really? I mean, you're talking to the guy that has watched a Serbian film more times than anyone should. I mean, I need to feel alive, and someone that watches horror movies all the time, I've talked about this before, like, I'm just very desensitized to things that scare me. So I've kind of replaced what scared me with, like, pushing my limits. Like, what kind of things can I watch that make me feel like I'm on a watch list or something?
God.
And this, like, did it for me. Like, this is something that I would watch, like, a full-out thing of this and feel disgusted for weeks later. But, like, I thought this was so frightening, and, like, maybe that is the new dad in me, but I was just like, I thought this was so scary, and, you know, like, you're like, this could be real. This could be something that happens. Kids go missing all the time, and just everything we said, right? Like, just that this violence is being inflicted on people that are obviously very young. It's just, yeah, like in the pit of my stomach hurt when I was watching this, and I'm a sicko, and I judge that by being like, oh, that means I really like this.
The reasons why I didn't like it are the reasons why you liked it. So exactly. I think it's funny because my last one was Kid Print. Your first one's Kid Print. Your second last one was Coochie Coochie Coo. And my first one is
Coochie Coochie Coo.
I don't know. That's what like really captivated me right off the bat with this movie, and it was continuing that possession pattern that we see throughout the movie. I thought it was like really unsettling in just like a unique way. Like, yes, we talked about how we can compare it to Barbarian. I fucking love Barbarian. So I love this kind of shit. It was really like, it got me. I was like, wow, she got both of them. She got them. They're babies now. It's so warped. It's so twisted. It's so entertaining.
Well, you know what? If anything, I think it's good to just show that, there's something for everybody in these VHSs. So, with that, let's land the plane and rate this overall. So if you're new to the program, our rating system is nay, okay, yay, or slay. So, Jill, what would you rate VHS Halloween as an entirety, as a whole piece?
Damn, okay. So I said this is probably my favorite out of the entire franchise. I also really liked Beyond, and I think I gave that a 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. Do I slay this? Do I slay VHS Halloween?
I mean, I feel like Colton would expect nothing less of you, so...
Yeah, he knows I'm a dirtbag, so I might as well just embrace the dirtbag and go with it. Yeah, it's a slay for me, I guess. There wasn't like anything that I hated for being inadequate, I guess.
Yeah.
It was more so I didn't like it because it was so well done, kid print, that it was deeply upsetting to my core. But I think every single segment, like, there was something for me in it. And I can't say that about every other or any other VHS movie. So, fuck it. 'Tis the season. 'Tis a slay. What about you?
I like that. I think I'm going to land on a yay. I really like this one. I don't know how comfortable I am to, give it a slay just with the anthology. And there were some that I felt were weaker. And like I said, I mean, some of these really work for me, but like found footage really isn't my thing. So I don't know if any of those would ever be a slay necessarily. Mm-hmm. But I had a lot of fun with this. And like, this is one that I feel like I would watch every spooky season and come back to and visit and all that good stuff. So I really enjoyed it. So yeah, a yay and a slay. I'm sure Colton's just cursing under his breath already at us.
So mad.
But if you're not doing so, you can follow us on social media at It Slays Podcast. And we're pretty much anywhere there's social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, Bluesky, Letterboxd, YouTube. I'm probably forgetting something, Slasher. See, I knew I was forgetting something, but anywhere there's social media, we're probably there at It Slays Podcast. And Jill, why don't you let the lovely listeners know how they can become horror hounds?
All right, lovely listeners, if you wish to be a part of the ranks of our horror hounds like Holly, Nicholas, Sacrotype, Dan, Brian, Trevor, and James, head on over to Patreon. You can find us there under It Slays Podcast and check out the tiers and choose the tier that works best for you. Benefits include early access to episodes, access to our Patreon, exclusive show, stream screams, as well as the ability to choose a movie for us to review. Now, Halloween is fast approaching. I'm having a Halloween party this weekend, and I already went over to the horrific playlist and stole a bunch of the goodies that Rowan has put there for the playlist for my party. So why don't you tell these people where they can find that playlist?
Yeah, you can go to Spotify and look up the It Slays Podcast Horrific Playlist. If you have any problems finding it, you can go to any of the social media that I just mentioned moments ago. Go into the bio, click the Linktree link, and there's a button there. It'll take you directly there. We upload scores or licensed music to iconic horror movies we review, or just horror movies we love. So follow it. I update it pretty regularly. It's spooky season, so you got to. And get your spooky music on, because why the hell not? And next time on Now Slaying, I think Colton is finally back. He is finally back. And it will be The Black Phone 2, I believe. We're done with the double features. We've caught up. Although I say that, who knows? Maybe The Black Phone 2 is going to come out in between one of the... Who knows? I don't know his plans. But yes, we will be back with The Black Phone 2. Who knows? Jill might be back on that one. I have no idea. We never know. Someone's going to show up and talk about The Black Phone 2. So we'll be back with that. And as always, yeah, thanks for all the support. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
Bye, it's Jill.
And if you keep listening, we'll keep slaying.